Welcome back. Tonight I've got a figure that I'm really excited to review for you guys. I've been waiting for it to come in the mail. It's finally here. And it is Masterpiece Star Saber. He is the Autobot leader from the Transformers Victory cartoon, for those of you that aren't really up to speed with the Japanese side of things. It's a very large Masterpiece figure. It's got several different modes about him, so we're going to go ahead, look at each one individually, talk about them, check out the details, and I hope you enjoy it. We're starting him off in his combined vehicle mode. You see it's this large spaceship type vessel. Got a little jet bit that sticks off the front. You'll see why later. Got some cannons here. You have this turret that totally isn't a robot head, I swear. Little extra gun that's more for storage than anything. You can see it's got landing gear, so it can stand on its own there. The figure comes with this really cool flight stand that is actually his shield in robot mode. I'll show you how it converts later, but pretty simple. There it is holding him up. So, if you want to display your figure in his vehicle mode, you want it to look like it's flying. It does give you that option, which is really neat. Nice little perk. All right, we're going to break Star Saber down to his most basic component. This is the Brain of Courage, which is Star Saber's most basic form here. It's what's called a Brain Master. Something that was exclusive to the Victory cartoon and I guess manga. They're kind of a reversal on the Headmasters, in that instead of them being a small robot that just attaches to a larger lifeless body, they started out as a full-size Transformer and then basically had these little mini bodies created out of their cranial units. So you'll see kind of how those attach to their bodies later. But yeah, a lot of, nice detail for a figure that's so small. This thing is tiny. It's like smaller than a Titan Master. But yeah, good paint apps. Looks like he does in the show. So the Brain of Courage can ride inside of his jet vehicle here. That I just knocked over. Go ahead and put him in like a little sitting position. His legs do move individually, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Get him on in there. Close cockpit. And yeah, that's our segue into the jet mode. This made up the front of that combined spaceship thing that you saw before. It's got this nice chrome on it here. Nice little vent details. It's got landing gear, which is cool. And it's simple, but it's nice. Alright, this is where I'm going to demonstrate the Brain Master feature. So you see the jet's been converted to a robot mode. Got the Brain of Courage in there. Plant them in, and then when you push this up, chest closes and his face pops up. A big difference between this figure and the original toy that's based off of. The original toy, that little faceplate was actually inside of the Brain of Courage itself, which made it very bulky, awkward looking. It also enabled you to kind of mix and match their faces, kind of like you did with the Headmasters. Unfortunately, you can't do that with this figure since the faceplate's built into the larger robot body itself, which is a shame, but it does make for a much better looking Brain Master. So yeah, this could be considered the character's true robot mode. He's known as Saber in this mode. You can see he very much resembles his smaller Brain Master form. He's got his jet nose coming on here like a shield, sort of. He can wield the gun in this mode, as well as a miniature version of the sword that his larger robot mode wields. That hilt is actually really supposed to be this nose cone, because there was one episode where he uses his sword in his smaller robot mode, and in order to make it look not ridiculous, they just kind of shrunk it down. So yeah, it's more of a prop than anything. Here's the larger portion of his vehicle mode again. This thing is known as the V-Star. It's kind of an auxiliary, attachment for him. In the original toy, this could actually turn into a base. You could probably configure this thing to look like some sort of base, but it's not really intended. It's not called in the instructions or anything. But, yeah. Nothing special. This part of the figure does contain the die cast for the toy. And it's in the form of these little engines here. That's, and right here. That's about it for the die cast. Not the most well thought out use of die cast metal on a Masterpiece figure, but yeah, you know. Those cannons can raise up and reveal these little missile launcher pod things. It's a neat little touch. Alright, and this is what happens when you combine Saber with the V-Star. Helmet comes down. It's actually on a clip that you pull to release the helmet. And this thing just goes flush up in his back there. Get in there. There you go. And there you go. When you combine Saber with the V-Star, you get Star Saber. I know. Creative, right? So as you can see, this is a very big figure. I have to pull him so far back just to get him in the whole shot there. But yeah, very anime looking. You know, this was kind of the point in Transformers where they stopped trying to match the designs of, you know, the original Generation 1 and just went full-blown Japanese robots. This guy, he's got a lot of articulation. Nice solid joints there. He's got his little flaps that move up so he can lift his legs. These go up. He can move very well. Hands are very well articulated. Got wrists. Separate pointer finger. His palm's got the typical slot for Masterpiece toys because they kind of have that universal weapon system. Yep. Right here is where you store the blades of his two swords, both the full-size one and the miniature one. Put his gun in the hole here. You're going to attach his jet cockpit, which now serves as the hilt of the full-size sword. Store it right there. I mentioned earlier how his flight stand converts to a shield. And it's pretty simple. It's a clear plastic piece. You just slide it off. And you get this solid blue piece. Nice Autobot symbol on it. You just make sure it goes in all the way. Got a handle for him to hold on to. And that's a shield. The original toy didn't come with a shield. It's actually pulled from the anime. I think it was one episode, might have been more, where he just all of a sudden had a shield. So it's really neat that they recreated it for the Masterpiece here. Here he is rocking that shield along with his blaster. Looking real cool. One issue this figure has, the elbow joints aren't very tight, so it has a hard time kind of holding the weight of the shield. See, kind of flops a little bit. He does have double elbows, which helps for posability and really useful for another accessory that I'm about to show you. And here he is with his sword. Nice and chrome, just like the smaller one. See the tip of the nose cone splits open to admit it and just kind of clamps on it. So yeah, it's got, the handle has the typical long peg for the Masterpiece style hands, but Star Saber is known for wielding his blade two-handed, so they included this handy dandy little extension handle that the camera's not focusing on. Focus. There you go. And we'll take a look at that. Alright, to attach the extension, you're just going to put the regular handle back up inside. So these up, flip it back in, close everything. And you just take the extension handle here, and it just kind of clips in. It's neat. Got to hold the camera for this one. So yeah, there he is, two-hand wielding his sword, samurai style, looking awesome. Very cool, right? Mentioned the whole double elbows. That's kind of why he has them, because his arms aren't long enough to pull this pose off without doing something that would break a human arm. It's kind of like Hot Rod's little fishing pole thing. You have to bend his arms in really unnatural positions to make that work. Here's Star Saber's box. Really big, just like him. You know, if you've seen a Masterpiece box before, pretty standard, right? You got MP-24, his I guess position, Cybertron Commander, or Autobot Commander, Star Saber, shiny Masterpiece letters. Top looks pretty much the same. More shininess. Nice little breakdown of everything the toy does. And some more shininess. And a little parts count there. Some legal info and stuff that I can't read. Here's the character art card. It's got him looking very anime-esque. The sword looking cool. Got his tech specs on here. Hey, look, there's his little saying, "Let's say go." He says that every time he goes into battle. We also have his instruction book, the same image that he has on his little tech spec card. On the back, it's got some interesting info. It's got some concept sketches here. I'm not sure if those are probably concepts for the original toy, maybe. Then it's got kind of like a little history of the character. You got the original G1. You got that, which I think is just a PVC figurine or something. I believe that's the Robot Masters figure, which is kind of a smaller, simplified version of the original. And then you have the Star Saber from Transformers Armada, which is kind of an odd choice to have that on there. I mean, I know they're both called Star Saber, but they're not related characters at all. And you just get these nice little in-depth instructions. I think that's some sort of bio that I can't read. Got Saber, little inner robot. The V-Star. Vehicle mode. Transform. Takara is really good about having nice in-depth instructions on their stuff. Shows the different configurations of the saber blade. Pretty neat. Extra handle. The Saber laser. That's the name of his little gun cannon thing. And a shield. So that completes our look at Star Saber. Again, this is a very large Masterpiece figure, or just a large figure in general. Very, very anime accurate. I mean, they did a fantastic job keeping almost all the functionality of the original figure and still making him look like he does in the cartoon. And just giving him really nice proportions compared to the kind of short-limbed brick that was the original Star Saber toy. Mostly, you know, all positive comments on this guy. Again, the elbows are a little weak. Do have a hard time holding that heavy shield up. And the only thing that's kind of a shame is that there's nowhere to actually store his little mini sword hilt or his shield either in his robot mode, which is a shame. Wish they could have incorporated that somehow, but oh well. This isn't a figure that everybody's going to be looking for. You know, more the casual Transformers fans may not even know who Star Saber is. But if you are into the Japanese continuity, or you just really like robots with cool designs, I definitely recommend this guy. He's, you know, a little on the higher end of the Masterpiece price scale. I got this guy online for $150. So, you know, he's of the larger variety, up there with like Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, those guys. But yeah, I absolutely love this figure, especially since I will probably never own a Generation 1 Star Saber, because those must go for ungodly amounts in the secondary market now. So, as always, let me know what you thought of the review, let me know what you think of the figure itself, and I will see you next time.